Hello. Good to have you again on the program. And of course, it still remains the economy today on KAFTAN television. And what we do always is to see the best way we can handle matters to ensure that the economy is enhanced and talked about, explained, and made clear to everyone who would watch the program. So you can't say that there is a loss at any point in time while you go on being part of this program. So we welcome you again on the program. And we would always bring guests that will help us talk about what we're doing and perfect it. So, Okechukwu Onubogu here, of course, but then I've got two guests that will talk with me and discuss with me things that have to do with the economy. One way or the other, you will stay here and know and understand that is the economy we're discussing today. And among the two fellows I have, very, very special, I would say, special members of an organization that is older than modern day Nigeria. Nigeria, of course, we know got its independence in 1960, but then the organization that from which I have gotten two key members that will discuss with me today on the program is much older than Nigeria and whatever we say about a year, because this organization happens to have been formed in 1957. And I'm talking about the Nigerian Economic Society. And so this day, I've got them, and they are here with me. And who are the ones I have? I first of all want to begin with the fact that I have the one that is the president of the Nigerian Economic Society here with me on the program today. He is a very special person, I must say, because he is a professor. I'm talking about Professor ADEOLA Adenikinju. Prof, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and incidentally, I am not alone with Prof. I've also got someone else that will also work with me, talk with me to make sure that we've got every area covered. And this other person I have with me is a public policy analyst, and he plays a key role too, being a secretary in the secretary of the planning committee of certain of the programs they have, but as we go on you get to understand more. But then this public analyst is someone that is special. I must say public policy analyst is Dr. I'm talking about Dr. Justin AMASE. Doctor, good to have you on the program.
Thank you so much.
Right. These two gentlemen will help me explain certain things that have to do with Nigeria's economy and the Nigerian Economic Society. And so straight away, I will want to say that I want to begin with asking, looking at the fact that Nigerian Economic Society has stayed for this long beyond Nigeria, modern Nigeria, what would you say are the things or the reasons for which this society was formed in the first place, and what are the motivations, things that led to getting it formed, and the initial aims and thoughts of getting it formed? Do you look at it as something that is being achieved at a time like this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you said, the society was formed in 1957 by Nigerian scholars who were in the UK. And at that time, the motivation was actually to bring together economists and allied specialists to be able to contribute to the socio-economic development of Nigeria. Nigeria was going to have independence since 1960. Yes. So it was thought at that time that it would be very good for young Nigerians, economists to come together and in a way be able to provide some advisory and suggestions to the government that will be formed so that Nigeria can be able to achieve rapid socio-economic transformation. Among the objectives of the society are to also provide a rallying point for economists, to be able to discuss ideas around the economy, and to also be able to grow professionally. And also to be able to organize at least a conference annually, that will bring together, experts, on various aspects of the economy, and through that conference to be able to make, policy recommendations to government, and to also serve as a forum, for discussing public policy. One of the other things that the society tries to do is to be able to also provide what we call open and some discreet advisory to government. There's some advisory that that we give to government that doesn't come to the public space. We observe some things and then we're able to submit or send to government some memoranda what we think about the economy or about particular policies and what we think the government should be able to do around that. I mean, the last 60-something years, I mean, a whole lot of this, have been achieved. The next couple of days, then we'll have our 66th annual conference. So that means that over the years, even during the Civil War, we'll continue to have our annual conferences. And so that has been a major forum, through which we interrogate government policies, we come up with recommendations, and that are then passed on to government.
Let me come to Dr. Arise and ask you straight away. Over the years, from what he has said, is look, you have done things. It's not that the society has been dormant. You've been working effectively. Over the years, this is your contribution. How would you assess it as it affects the government and governance in Nigeria?
I know that economics, by the very nature of their professional calling, they have exceptional insight into what are the economic issues, affecting maybe the national economy, for instance, all the way from the global to the continental. Now, this insight cannot be properly harnessed if there is no platform for economists to come together. And when such a platform is provided, economists can set an agenda, for instance, for policy and the areas of adjustment that the policymakers can use to fine-tune whatever policies are in place. Now, when economics have an annual conference, for instance, they provide a forum not just for professional economics to come together, exchange ideas and experiences, but to share and enhance the ideas with different perspectives. As a result, what comes out becomes a much more holistic perspective of what could be done. And so every year this kind of conference that is coming up is organized to provide that opportunity for both policymakers, government partners, and other leaders in the private sector to come and share ideas and experiences about the economy and see the best way it can be moved forward through policy adjustment.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Justin. And I would want to say also that looking at what you have had for years, I want to find out from President, is there any arrangement you have, the Nigerian Economic Society, or do you have any positive arrangement that will positively influence younger people, contributions of younger people, and the women folk in the society? Do you have any idea, any plan, any program for membership, not just to be, like I have two men here now. I mean, talking about Habi and two men that are, of course, do you have young members? Do you have female members? And do you have a plan of carrying them up effectively to play roles, meaningful roles, even both behind and at the scene of the events proper.
Thank you so very much. The society is a very inclusive world. It's a very inclusive society, and like I said, the membership is open to any economists, at different levels in the university, the academia, and the public sector and the private sector. They are all encouraged to join. And then we also have different layers of membership.
Yes.
We have what we call the associate members. Okay, the associate members are final year students who are just finishing their rounding up and who are less than 5 years post-graduation qualified as associate members. And then we have full members, we have life members, we have fellows. But to quickly just look at what you just asked, when I became president, one of the areas I thought of it, some significant impact was actually want to start the women wing.
Yes.
So now we have what we call the NES female professionals.
Okay.
Okay. That are essentially women, ladies. And the whole idea is that, that body is to provide a forum for ladies, for women who are economists to come together, encourage each other, be able to address issues that, maybe that are peculiar to them, and to also be able to contribute generally to see, to economic development of the country and in the states. Because recently the Cross River State branch, of NESFP organized a forum attended by one of the commissioners where they were teaching people how to be able to, engage in some economic projects and write feasibility studies and things like that. And they did that in partnership with First Bank. So they are very active, and the women wing is making a whole lot of impact in that area. Then also we have the students. We have the students wing. We have what we call NESA. NESA is Nigerian Economic Student Association. Any department of economics in Nigeria, will have undergraduates and will be member of NESA. And NESA is organically linked to Nigerian Economic Society. We also have the AGES, Association of Graduate Economic Students. Okay. Now, so what we are doing this year, which is the first of its kind, is that the NES is holding its 66th conference. At the same time, the NESA is holding the 14th annual conference. In other words, this year's conference is going to bring together the main society itself and the student wing. So we expect at least 500 students, across Nigerian universities in this conference, so that they can sit in the same room with policymakers and with industry leaders. They can see how decisions are made. They can interrogate those people and be able to also get their voices heard. So it's a very inclusive society. I would take our women and the youth very, 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 very importantly, because whether we like it or not, these young people are the ones that will succeed us.
Exactly.
And it's good to provide mentorship for them and to also be able to bring them up. And that's what we are doing.
Thank you so much, because we've seen organizations that you have great fellows, great minds, great people, great personalities, and at the end of the day, after 15, 20 years, you don't get to see them again. They fizzle out because of the fact that they have failed to carry out this mentorship program, continuity that will lead to the fact that there will be a smooth transition from one age to the other. Okay, that's good. So at least we are sure now that there will be many more of Professor Akisi Jews and Dr. that will also be there. Yes, Dr. RSA, yes. It is good that AMASE rather, it's good that we have such people, because this is what matters most. Now, looking at the fact that we are seeing it the way it is today, and we look at the fact that there are people that will ask me today or tomorrow after this program. You were talking about people and said it's Nigerian Economic Society. I didn't know much about them. So I would want them to get to know much about them from this program. And the first place I want to say is, normally, immediately before, during, and immediately after National Convention, we get to hear about the NES. And after that, it goes away. Why is it so? That's the first question. The second question is, have you got any program in place to ensure that this is mitigated so that it will continue to be what we'll be seeing on a constant basis. No longer a seasonal or an annual get to know about the NES.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's a very relevant question.
Yes.
You see, for a very long time, we have been, very conservative.
Yes,
we bring together every year as members of the academia and a few members, and some of our members, to hold our conferences. But again, in the last few years, since I became president, we've tried to open it up. Okay. Presently, we have 36. We have chapters. I call it 36 states of the federation.
That's good.
So in every state now, you have a chapter. You have a state chapter. Okay. And one of the mandates I gave, I gave them is that, look, we should not just be also focusing on the federal government. At the state level, the state branch should be also look at what is happening at the subnational level.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is the budget, the economic issues, at the state level, that those states should also focus on that. So we have that now. And then also now we have what we call the annual economic report. Okay, just like the World Bank releases its annual report and the IMF, the Nigerian Economic Society should also speak about the economy. And so every day, so since the last 2 years now, we release annually what we think is happening to the Nigerian economy, and what is our outlook for that for the coming year. So we do that, and then also we have what we call the budget seminar. Once the federal government releases its budget, okay, we organize seminars, okay, to provide, to enlighten the public, okay, about what that budget is all about, and provide a deep analysis of the implications of the budget for the private sector, for the public sector, and and what we take as constraints, and possible headwinds that may come in that government had to take account of. So we also do that, and then we also have a public lecture that's outside the conference, where we build on, we look at a topical issue, okay, that is germane to the economy, and then we have a speaker to come and speak about it. So we have a number of activities now that ensure that through year round, there are things going on in the society that will allow members of the public to know that the NES exists. And so we have induction, we have state level activities, state levels, chapters organizing activities. We even have we have diaspora now. Because we have economies outside Nigeria who are Nigerians.
Because after all, in the first place, it started from outside Nigeria.
So, so now we want those who are outside Nigeria, who are Nigerians, to also contribute to the policy debate, to the public debate, and see how they can provide some policy advisory. So we have provided that forum for them. So like in the past, I think the NES now is more energized. It's more focused. And like I mentioned earlier, the young people now have taken it as their own. And they are very participatory in what is going on. So I've inducted many students now across Nigerian universities as associate members of society, so that we can pass on the light to these young people.
Thank you so much.
Can I
yes, please do. I want to say something.
The Nigerian Economic Society, under the leadership of Prof. Adenikinju, has also created an expert group, various expert group, made up of specialists and key professionals in those sectors, who have specialized knowledge in policy and in the workings of those sectors. So this expert group advise the government privately, especially it interacts with some of the policy makers and policy implementers at the various levels of the agencies, all the way to the president. So this is done privately, but it is a fundamental way of engagement between Nigerian Economic Society and its stakeholders that are so critical to the success of policy, both policy development and policy implementation. Of course, policy adjustment or policy reform. So this expert group created by Prof. Adenikinju under his presidency have from time to time look at emerging issues in the economy, issues of inflation, issues of GDP growth, issues of poverty, issues of what is affecting the real sector. And they have provided positions which have communicated and engaged with the policymakers privately at the various levels. Professor Adenikijun also created these structures of having zonal as well as state chapters of the Nigerian Economic Society, which were not there before. And like you pointed out, the purpose is to carry the message of economic policy adjustment and support by Nigerian Economic Society down to the subnational level.
And in actual fact, now that we're talking about carrying it down, you know, this country is talking about having the local government administration effectively being economically independent. Yes. So that also means that the NES has more work to do, reaching out to even the local government. You just said, reach to the states, also reach to the local government, so that because wherever the money goes, there is need for a professional advice to ensure that it's effectively utilized.
Right. Exactly.
Excellent. Okay, that's right. And also to add to that, you know that currently the subnationals, the state and local government, cost almost 50% of government revenue, government expenditure.
Okay.
So it's very important to also focus on what happens.
Yes.
And I just believe that the states, the local governments. And one of the things I also encourage even our students, that our lecturer colleagues, that we should not give projects to students that understand your local economy. You should not just be thinking about what happens in Abuja. But what happens, what are the drivers of inflation in your state? What is causing unemployment in the Cross River state? What, compare zone and state in the same zone. Which state is doing well, better? And what can we learn from each other? These are areas we need to also put our searchlights.
Oh, that's good. Do you have it? I know I need to hear it. Do you have members making positive effort to create a sustained economic intelligence unit in various states across the federation? You've told me a bit of it, and that's what you're working on now. Now I want to see: are there some people who are members who may have achieved certain heights that you can say, yes, like in this zone or in this zone, we have some great fellows who have done things that would impact effectively on the states?
Yeah, let me just demonstrate this. That you see, this society can boast of very, very eminent economists in the past. Professor Okechukwu Aboyade was the one that led the writing of the second national development plan. Was the one that was the co-chair of the committee set up by Professor Babangida at that time to determine whether Nigeria should accept IMF loan or not. He was an advisor to many other governments. The Soludos, Kojo Weala, the Emir of Kano. There are so many Emir, Professor Aluko, Sama Aluko, Kongo, those who wrote to do the national development, the national accounts for Nigeria, and so much should do smart. So a whole lot of Nigerians are members of these professional groups. And we also have them at the state level. Currently, the governor of Abia State is also a member as an economist. Charles Olodo is a former governor of the Central Bank. He's a fellow of the society, and so many eminent people like that. So, like I said, where you have, we have over 250 universities in Nigeria, for instance, and at least a quarter of them study have a program on economics. So when you have the lecturers, you have the students, you have they are all our members.
We have been churning out great
minds, So we are really there. Just that initially, maybe in the past, we have not been able to harness all of them together under the umbrella of the Nigerian society. But now I think we are making a whole lot of progress in that place.
And talking about
and also we have we try to also interact with the ministries at the state level also, because there are some ministries that I would call economic ministries. Economic planning, budget, finance and the rest of them. To see how they can involve our members, in terms of some of the processes of government, economic management at that level, so that we can make impacts and make inputs.
Thank you so much. Doctor, let me hear from you, Dr. AMASE.
Yes.
I know you want to say something about this too.
No, just to add the fact that Nigerian Economic Society under his leadership has entered into some strategic relationship or alliance with other knowledge group For instance, this year, Nigerian Economic Society entered into a partnership with Nigerian Economic Summit Group, which specializes more on private sector engagement, private sector support.
Yes.
And this kind of partnership also draws in external expertise that is available to Nigeria Economic Society at the various levels. It is not just Nigeria Economic Summit Group, but Nigeria Economic are partner other organizations that are directly involved at the different levels of government. And so a lot of these organizations conduct seminars or webinars, workshops at the various levels.
And the members play effective roles.
Exactly. Members are part of that, and they help to drive, the success of that.
It's good because the society needs to hear this. I'm not talking about society of economists, right? The general society needs to hear this to understand that there's a whole lot you're doing. Well, we will get back to these our discussion. We'll still talk more, but right now we'll just take a break. We'll return soon. Thank you so much. We're here again. We're not done with this, and we're still working to perfect all of it. I still have the two great minds that are from the Nigerian Economic Society with me on the program today. One is the president. The president of that society is here with me. I'm talking about Professor ADEOLA, ADENIKINJU. Prof, good to have you again.
Thank you so much.
And I also have a member of that society that's also in the secretarial aspect, doing a lot more, and especially the fact that there has been what we say that on an annual basis there is a conference. So each conference will have a committee that will plan and organize and arrange things. And so the secretary of the one that's doing the current one is with me on the program today, and he is here as a member of the panel this moment. And so we're sharing. I'm talking about Dr. Justin AMASE. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Let me ask a question. As I said, someone will ask me questions when I go out. So I want to ask all those questions now so that they may not bother me.
Okay.
What does it take to make someone a member of NSA, Nigerian Economic Society, or NES, forgive me. So how do we do it?
Yeah, thank you very much. The society is open to anybody who studied economics.
Okay.
Or related discipline.
I like discipline.
Yes, somebody who studies either the social sciences, management sciences, agricultural economists can be a member.
Okay.
And like I said, there are various categories of membership. The lowest category, which is basically for a final year student or a graduate that's under 5 years, is the associate membership. And that person can use the acronym ASMES.
Okay.
Then we have the full members, which is anybody who has graduated for over 5 years, either from the University of Polytechnic, who study those related courses can also become member, and then can also apply as a full member. And then we have live members, those who have been there for some time, and then we have the fellows. The fellows is the highest category of membership, and that is awarded to those who have made a significant contribution either in the public economic space or in terms of the knowledge body of knowledge of economics. So I mean, people can go online to our website, nigerianconsociety.org, .ng, and then our website they can find the forms there to fill. So once you download the forms, I will provide some of the information we needed, including photocopies of the certificates, and then you have 1 or 2 people that also are able to write some references for you as to your integrity. Then the society is willing to consider such people as members. And anyone who is also interested who comes to this year's conference can actually direct there apply and become members. On the first day, we are going to do induction for those who want to join the society.
All right. And I know that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, from your meeting with the vice president, will be inducted as a fellow. Is it not?
Yeah, the vice president. The vice president.
Okay.
As the highest award.
As a fellow.
It's actually declared it open. The president's out of the country, so the vice president will be coming to declare the conference open, and he will also be, and the governor of the central bank. Both of them will be all given the award of fellowship of society.
Yes, Dr. AMASE.
The society under President Adeninkinju has created an app through which the conference, you can register for the conference. Through the app, you can also register for membership. And this is one of the first. It has never been done by any administration. And for this conference, a lot of the activities can be monitored directly, live, online, through the app. So up to the 8th, which is Monday, you can either use the website or you can use the app to access every information you need to know and even to register. Now, going back to the issue of membership, there is an interesting element of transition in the discipline. A lot of the accountants, the chartered accountants today are actually economists. And so the Nigerian Economics Society have made it flexible that where if you are a graduate accountant and you feel you can play a significant role in economic
project and planning.
We had a case of even a medical doctor who, after qualifying as a medical, went and read economics because he knows that, and as he confessed, every dimension of our life, every dimension of the economy has an element of economic inside. So there is a lot of flexibility in membership of the Nigerian Economic Society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking at our country as it is, we have over the years had economic policies, and our economic policies keep varying from administration to one administration to another. Looking at all of it, someone may even get confused to say, are you sure we even have an economic policy that can stand the test of time? And people like you are here. So let's ask you, what is it like looking at Nigeria's economic policy? Is it what you could say is something that can stand the test of time, and it may not be adjusted again and readjusted as we've been having from administration to administration? Do we see Nigeria as a nation with an economic policy?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, that is a very interesting question, and that's a very good question. You see, I mean, Nigeria between 1960 and 1985, we had what we call development plan, 5-year development plan.
Yes.
Then 1960 we started the structural adjustment program, and somehow we were convinced by the Bretton Woods institutions to abandon planning.
Yes.
Okay, and we abandoned that until maybe 2003 or so when we did NEET.
Yes.
And then during then we have Vision 2020. Then we had ARGP. Yes, 2010 under Babacha. Yes. Then we have ARGP. And then we have a development plan now. Now, one of the challenges we have is that there's lack of fidelity to those plans. Okay, if you look at some of the Southeast Asian countries, you know, you're looking at Malaysia, you look at Indonesia, you look at China, those countries that are able to develop rapidly, there's always a plan, a long-term, medium to long-term plan that is able to guide the allocation of resources, that is able to direct the country, the vision of where the country should go. We need that in Nigeria. You see, because economic policies, for them to start to jamming, you know, to grow and to have impact will take years. Yes. You are changing, I mean, like it's like you are trying to steer a ship. If you know, it's a big huge thing, you have to, it's something that you do, you know, gently and things. So part of our problem is that there's the lack of fidelity to those plans. When government comes in, it prevents some policies abandon whatever the other person has done. Another one comes, start so the institutions are abandoned. So you can't grow on the basis of that. In fact, one of the recommendations that some of us are making is that we should have a 15-year plan that is then legislated into law, and if any administration is going to change it, it has to have to turn majority national assembly to do it. So we make it very difficult for people to change, and then when the government comes, it continues, it completes the projects that the previous government is a continuum. So the government starts a road project, you know, it gets it to some level, and then another one comes and says, oh, I'm going to start my own instead of completing it. So we are not able to reap the economic benefits, the productivity gains that this one will bring in. Okay, and then this one start, it cannot also complete, but because of other serious reasons. So we have a lot of uncompleted projects scattered over the country. That is part of the challenges we have. So we must create and then we must create institutions. You know, one of the speakers in this year's one of our speakers at this year's conference is you know the last year Nobel Prize winner, Professor Robinson. Okay, I mean it was great institutions. The institutions is one of those factors that will drive growth. Okay, you must have the right institution, the right law, rule of law. You must have governance structure that are conducive for growth. In fact, again, one of the recommendations we are making to government is that the government should designate some ministries, the ADs, as what we call, you know, economic institution ministries. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Ministry of Trade, Industry and you know, and investment. These are ministries that, you know, these are ministries that should be manned by economists. In those countries that have developed rapidly, you have technocrats. These places are isolated. You are able to get the best brains. In India, these are the people that are going to create your plans, that are going to craft how your budget is situated, how you move the economic structure of your country. It will amaze you. So, now part of the study I've done recently is that in Ministry of Budget and Planning, the last 3 permanent secretaries, none of them was an economist. You have a vet doctor, you have a pharmacist, you have a civil engineer. You know, so we are really saying, look, government should say, look, these are ministries that are economic, that, you know, that are technical. Not that you cannot move somebody, you cannot make somebody an economist to go for health, to go ahead medical or attorney general of the federation. These are specialized areas. So we are negotiating with World Bank now, and you are bringing people that are not economists to negotiate agreement and that, you know.
So they will know you have that ability.
Other countries don't do this. Okay, and so we come up with a lot of recommendations that will help government to be able to better structure policies and ensure that we take advantage of the endowments of this country. In 1960, we had the same position with many of these countries. Now, some of those countries have been able to grow their per capita income 20 times, 15 times.
Yes.
Now, we have been able to just do, maybe 10 of where we were in the 1960s.
That is it.
So yes, we have plans, but those plans are plans that really are too feeble in terms of implementations, and fidelity to their implementation has been extremely very, very low.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just add that a fundamental element of policy success is political stability.
Yes.
When there is stability in succession.
Sorry, let me say it. Let's hear it again. The fundamental element of political success is political stability.
Political stability.
Yes.
Yeah. If you look at the Asian countries that the president has referred to, they have enjoyed a reasonable level of stability in their political process. Indonesia, Malaysia, all of them. There are cases where some of their president or their leaders stayed up to, people like Mahathir, the Indonesian president, all of them stayed up to even 20-something years, up to 30. In other words, the system allows for the leaders who come with very good policies to see the implementation to a final conclusion. And of course, what we have is that as a result of these policy failures, the economy has stayed in one place. In other words, the structural transformation that the policies were targeted to address is still there. We are still largely an agrarian economy. We have not transitioned to an industrial economy. So any new administration that comes should focus primarily on reforms that will create this structural transformation. And that is why you are seeing different policies. And because politically, for most of the years of independence, the military was ruling. And any military leader comes with his own agenda. So you cannot expect a new military to take over the policies of the previous one. And so all of these aggregate factors, together with some of these institutional issues that Professor Adeninkinju has raised, have made us to remain at the same point in our economic development.
Well, I thank God that we've had a kind of steady growth of democracy for some time now, for some years now, over 20 years now we've moved on, and I pray it will continue that way. And now that is there is a strong need for that policy that can last the test of time, so that people can know that this is the way Nigeria is going. Just as you said, being an agrarian society is not enough. We need to also become an industrial society. Let's work of industrializing the agrarian nature we have. That's why looking at what we find in China went to other countries, went to Japan, went to America to learn. And after learning effectively, they asked their sons and daughters that went, go get the technology, bring it home, let's work with it. And today it's working for them. And so I keep asking, do we ask since we have brain drain, do we ask our economists and our young people to go outside, get more, and come in here? Or do we use the homegrown development, packaging, or do we combine it so as to make Nigeria a better place to be in? Because there is everything natural that we can get to make Nigeria great, but we have not started making use of all of these.
Yeah. Oh, very, very, very interesting. Again, for some years now, I've been very much interested in what drives growth. I want an economist over the years, I've been also bothered about what are the drivers of growth. Now, one of the things you will notice, I'm going to get earlier and address what you are saying, is a combination of both. You need to develop your own Homegrown. The human capital is one of the major factors of growth, the factor of production. Human capital is very important, okay? And we have to produce human capital from the education system, okay? The education system was very robust. Your health system was very robust, okay? You know, you don't want to train people who die easily. So you must have a way where you have. So the education system is very robust. Now you ask yourself, how much is the resources that government commits to the education sector? Okay, now which is the recent year which you have the highest growth, it's under 5%.
That is shame.
Okay, now I mean in Indonesia and Malaysia, where I've been looking at in the state, it's 20% of the budget, 3 to 4% of their GDP goes to education. So you have to really target your education system to produce those skills that will be needed to facilitate the industrial transformation that Dr. AMASE is talking about. You know, to be able to bring in the information, revolutions, that we have, the world of information that we have now. You need people, you need universities that are well equipped. You need professors that are well motivated. You need a curricular structure that is targeted deliberately towards ensuring that you have skills that the economy needs. Okay, so Nigerians have gone abroad, and in the 60s and 70s, the people that taught us, they went abroad, they all came back.
Yes, they all came back.
You know, some of them, they were defending that this is the following day they are back in Nigeria. You know, they wanted to contribute, but you have a place where that consumes giants. You know, that kills with giants, that don't motivate any of them. Okay, so over time, instead of people coming back, they go and stay, and that's a loss to the economy. So we have Nigerians now who are doing well across the globe. Doctors in the UK, doctors in America, robotic engineers, they're all over the place. But we are very ready to come in with all the circumstances of the country now. It's difficult for them to come back.
It is.
So government must have to deliver. You see, these things are not accidental. Those countries are deliberate in what they wanted, and they go about, allocating resources, fine-tuning their policy in a way that they're able to achieve that. They create the environment for those people to come back. They finance their universities, they finance their education system in a way that those people are motivated, okay, to be to create innovations or reproduce some of those things that
especially the research institutes in particular. So we don't do it.
We were with we were with the vice president on Thursday, and he was talking about, he said he had a farm, okay, and that when he wanted to plant, he went to one of the research institutes to buy high quality seedlings. Okay, that all that they produce for the country is about 60,000. Okay, and each of them is about 6,000. I mean, spend 60 million or so, and like that. So we have institutions, we have research institutes that are not well funded. Okay, so they are not able to provide that kind of the link that the economy would need to be able to transform itself. So like I said, and oil is one of those things that have, what they call the devil's excreta.
Okay.
The oil took away our junk with oil. It took away our brain, our reasoning, and things like that, and it has left us down where we are.
Please, Prof, I need to add to that. This oil we talk about, we had oil and we have oil. We had oil, the one that Malaysia came and took. And today developed, and they have done good because there are derivatives that you get from that oil. But nothing's happening. Again, we have oil, the crude that we're talking about right now. That there are derivatives that come from it, which NNPC then would export, and that's all. All those derivatives will be produced and brought into Nigeria. We suffer and pay and get instead of getting them to use them here. That's why I thank God anyway for the president today that said, shea butter products, seed will no longer be exported in the wrong that it has to. You have to processing, developing for at least 30% of it before you export anything. Again, I thank God for his policy in accepting Dangote to do crude for naira for crude instead of dollar for crude as it used to be. That has helped a lot, and that factory, that Dangote factory industry has helped to bring some of these derivatives to us. So we need policies that will make this happen. Just as you said, Prof, we need policies that will make them stand, so that, I mean, younger ones will follow, and it will grow that way, so that our nation will become what we want it to become. So now it brings me to the question: do we see our nation, our leaders, as having enough political will to bring transformation in the economy of the nation?
Yeah, okay, if you want me to go, that will be total.
Yes.
You see, I mean, the last 2 years, in my view, had been characterized by very bold reforms and decisions.
Yes.
I agree with you. And it's like we maybe we're having a country now. Before, actually, we don't have a country that, you know, we are not on any sustainable pathway. Now we are on a sustainable pathway, because you can't have an economy, okay, where you have so much distortions in the foreign exchange market.
Yes.
You have all kinds of market rates, you know, and investors cannot plan. You spend more time looking for how you get to central bank to get some allocations. Now we have a market reflective exchange rate. That took a lot of courage.
Yes.
Okay. Now investors are able to plan. You're able to do long-time investments. Now there's stability in that foreign exchange market.
Yes.
Now with your Naira card now, you can go anywhere and it's acceptable.
Yes.
Okay. Before, nobody will accept Naira card.
Yes.
So there's some stability now.
Yes.
Okay. Two is that policy in the oil sector. Taking away subsidy.
Yes.
Subsidy has ruined this country.
It has.
From 1994, I had shouted that it should be removed. I was one of the happiest people when it was removed, because it destroyed the downstream sector, it destroyed the oil sector. People, so those are bold reforms. Another reforms that the president is saying, the Naira for crude, and some of these other policies, that they are trying to do. Those, they are painful, and they will be painful. Okay, because when you want to do major surgery to reconstruct, there will be pains.
Yes.
Okay, now how you manage that pain is another thing, and maybe they could do better in that area. And those are some of the recommendations we are giving to them. That if we have been involved in this process, maybe the design and the implementation, we have maybe advised, you know, on how you can mitigate the effect of that. So both reforms are very important, okay, which we have seen, you know, like what to say about shea butter, you know, cocos, you know, some of, we have exported for 60 years, 60 years. We are exporting our wealth. No country develops on the basis of the natural resources you have, or production. You develop on the basis of consumption of natural resources, of energy resources. How much of power are you generating and using in your country? That's what drives development. How much of integration, you know, of gas are you able to co-produce and consume, not export?
Yes.
You know, how much of crude you are able to integrate to the economy, not export?
Yes.
Export does not. So the reorientation now of our economy, from just looking at export to focusing on how do you increase value addition.
Yes.
How do you elongate both what we call the vertical and horizontal, you know, diversification of the economy.
Yes.
Because of natural gas alone, there are over 100 products we can produce.
Exactly.
Various industries that can come from that. So Dangote is trying to do that now. So from your cool down, you are able to optimize the products. You are not just producing the light oil with the PMS, diesel, and kerosene. Now you are producing all the various trade of, you know, and that, so the black oil, so now you are able to do a whole lot of things. So both reforms, very important. The only thing I will say, is that government must tie that to a long-term plan.
A long-term plan.
There must be a long-term goal of where we are going. Yeah, these policies are doing, you know, as good as they are. We must tie them down to a long-term objective, and we must, you know, as a country, find a way of linking the rural areas with the urban. We must break all of those so that you have we take out all the dualism in our economy.
Yes.
Informal, formal, rural, urban. So you have an integrated economy that works best, that's efficient, and that's able to ensure that from production to the point of consumption, you have a seamless, transition, that's able to, ensure efficiency of the economic system.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much. Let me hear from Dr. Justin AMASE so that before we round off our program today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Prof has already said so much about what is required. And the point you raised is very interesting. On the other hand, are policies. On the other hand, it's political will. Nobody, unless that person does not understand this economy, will doubt the fact that the present reform measures of the president they are more than overdue.
Yeah.
In fact, they are right. That's to put it.
Yes.
Of course, there are negative fallouts, probably because maybe more would have been done in terms of consultation to look at the best way to ensure implementation success.
Yeah.
But the fundamental thing is still the issue of reform policies to adjust the structure of the economy in such a way that it can jumpstart that transition. Now, these structural issues, there are so many, and some of them work against the success of policies that come in. Take the issue of corruption. It's an elite issue, and it's so permissive that if you look at before the reform policies, people who were privileged, who had contact, who had the funds, could decide not to work, not to produce anything at all, and use that money, go to the official market,
and be doing
and buy dollars instantly. By the next day,
they are rich.
So these are structural issues, and that is why issues of HLH unification has addressed that aspect. So no arbitrage, so there are a lot of those structural issues that have to be addressed, like corruption. If you don't address it, weak institutions, because this institution provide oversight, the legal system and enable environment for foreign investment to flow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. AMASE. Justin, of course, and we thank you for being here. And I want to say that I will need to bring you back again. Do not reject my offer. By the time I ask you to return again, you have done good doing the work we have done here together today. I also want to say special thanks to Professor ADEOLA ADENIKINJU. Thank you so much. You are the 44th president of the Nigerian Economic Society. Thank you so much. There are strides you have already made, and please go on to perfect them, so that the person that comes next to you will have no option but to continue on that way. This is what we say when we talk about maintaining a policy. As you're doing it for the nation, you are also doing for the society, and we are glad that you came in here. Prof, again, I will say we will ask you to come some other time. Please do oblige us. And that's how we'll be saying it's been great sharing the moments with them. These are members of the Nigerian Economic Society. And of course, conventions will come and go, but the society still remains, and the plans and things we have discussed are the things we'll still continue to talk about. So that's why I've asked them to come again. So you, dear viewer, I believe you must have got things that would help you even think about perfecting your own economy in your own way. Thank you for being there for us. I want to say it's been great sharing the moments with you. We'll come again on the program, The Economy Today. And I always want to say, may the best happen to us all. Bye for now.